everyone, welcome back to the LPL, and you find us here in the middle of we're getting ready for the third game of a very tense set between FPX and Snake. Some of you may be wondering about the next set, SNG versus RNG, and don't worry, we'll be covering that one as well, so just sit tight and we'll get back to the game at hand. FPX versus Snake. Last game we saw FPX finally bring it back. They figured out what they needed to do, they executed well on the strategy they set forward for themselves. And Snake, despite an amazing team fight, seriously, if you didn't see it, go look it up on the VODs later.
It's a quad from Flandre.
It was sick. Despite that, they were not able to pull it back in the end. So this time, 1-1. Third game. All the marbles. Yes, it's a regular season game, but these two teams are both at 1-0. They're both undefeated this season. This would mean a lot to the both of them. What do they need to do to clinch the win?
So I'm leaning more towards FPX. I feel like their game plan makes a lot more sense. And frankly, Snake have been able to come back because of outplays on the map. And what we've really seen from this match so far is that the Akali is not a flex pick for Mala. They didn't have the option to then last pick and counter for Gimgoon. So that really brings up a lot of red flags for me. If the draft goes in Game 3 the way it has been going in Game 1, Game 2, the teams have not changed sides, where early game and laning power goes over to FPX, and it's just about how many mistakes they can eliminate from their game. I feel like FPX do have this.
Speaking of FPX and laning, LWX actually last game, despite having a weaker lane, despite having a weak early, was able to clinch it off, win the game for his team with that final team fight. He's going to be our MVP for that last game.
28% of the team's damage, 315. Bring it on that, Kaisa. I expect nothing less from LWX. He is one of our better hyper carries, and he's always willing to put himself in danger to get all of the damage off. Even in the last play where they had the Sivir surrounded, he still went in on lower health than Asura was on just to finish off that kill. Now, it might be risky, but that's LWX.
Yeah, it was an amazing kill, and it really was the reason they got that team fight. Flandre diving in between towers certainly helped them, but if they weren't able to get the assassination onto the AD carry, LWX wouldn't have had a chance. He would have been taken out. The ricochets were coming in too far, too fast, so much damage from the crits, but they took him out, and then LWX able to get the win. 3 men ran it down for the victory for FPX after a long, close game.
I feel like Asura is going to go through a couple of growing pains here. He's probably going to follow a different person in team fights from now on. He's probably going to go like, you know what, SOFM, I think you're the right person to follow in team fights. Flandre can do whatever he wants in the backline, but I'll stick with you. I'll stay alive and probably take turrets because, to be honest, I don't think the Sivir should have followed fully with Flandre. Now, this was a really good start for Snake because a lot of committal was thrown on Flandre. He was able to get out alive and look at Asura's position. He's doing tons of damage on the Sivir. No one's really stopping him. They go between the towers. Now, if you look at the first tower, it's already really low, but no one turns around to take it down, and then Kaisa comes in and is able to finish off all of the kills. You have to remember that turret damage growth is far higher than it used to be. You cannot take 10 shots like you did before in other patches. It used to be like, you know, what's a tower? It doesn't matter. We'll take 32 shots on a Nautilus. Doesn't even bother us. But this time around, the tower growth, I believe it went from like 5 or 6 over to 9 per minute, and it just grows and it keeps on growing and keeps on growing. So Snake probably were playing in previous patches, and even though that should have been a clean ace for them, a really easy pickup win, they botched it so hard.
Just a little bit, and I think it was because of Flandre. He was a little bit infectious with his hype there. He's like, we're going in, we're going deep, we're going for the dive, come on, let's go. And then Asura was like, I'm safe, I just got a kill, I'm between 2 towers, let's see what else I can get, instead of immediately backing off. And maybe he was too afraid of the tower to go back through it, because then he would have been safe. But, you know, ultimately, LWX 3-shotting him for the victory, going to cinch that game. And like we've said, this third game means a lot for both teams. Snake had a terrible last season. 9 out of 10 games were losses, the most recent. That still hurts to hear. But what hurts even more is talking about their playoff chances.
Well, We did see Snake play against RNG earlier in spring of 2018, and the problem there was that their bot lane could not stand up against Uzi. That was a 65+ CS series for Uzi by 15 minutes. Like, that's insane to kind of comprehend just how far ahead Uzi was, and I feel like that's been the sore point for Snake. For the entirety of 2018, they just didn't have a lane that was actually solidly ahead earlier. Even though Flandre by himself is a very good laner, we saw that CSD score, he was only below the Shy. He actually had to do it alone most of the time. He's the second most ganked top laner in the entirety of the LPL. Number 1 was Marin, by the way, because, well, you know, there's no one else on TOP that you would want to gank. So Flandre was in that position where he was constantly being targeted down. He still had great performances, but I really want to see Snake and SOFM put more resources into him hard carrying his lane. Your bot side is now a lot stronger. Maestro said it himself that he feels that he has really good coordination, really good chemistry with his new AD carry in Asura. So maybe you can put more ganking emphasis into one of these lanes. Now, SOFM, he's always been known as more of a control type of jungler. We basically call him a thief. He steals a lot of buffs. He had the most Baron steals even over Karsa in 2018, but he's never been known for someone that really hard pushes for ganks and hard advances any of his lanes. Now, Snake didn't play that style, but I feel like this is something that they could do in this meta. Really just establish Flandre as your strong side on the map. Put your foot down.
And even when they haven't been doing that, Flandre has been taking these leads. He has been winning the top lane, or at the very least, doing okay. Last game, he got a lot more pushed in and a lot more hurt than we usually expect, but there was a lot of pressure coming out from the jungle, from TN. So if Flandre had instead been getting the focus there, I think that there would have been an entirely different dynamic around the macro play of that game. Instead of saying, okay, Flandre, be careful up there, it'd be, okay, Flandre, be careful, don't kill them too fast. We still want to have a decent game time. We want it to look like we had to try, okay? Because Flandre does have that ability. He has that pop-off potential. We saw it in one of the last team fights in that game that nearly turned the game for Snake. Picked up 4 kills in short order in a game that we thought they had already lost. So if they can just get him rolling earlier like you've been saying, I think they really have a great chance to get this Game 3 win. And I hope that they are thinking the same thing.
I know you're going for the Snake. I know your emotions are overcoming your logic. But I will say one thing. If they can pull off a flex for the Akali, I don't think FPX are going to ban Akali. I think they're going to leave it open and force Snake to first pick it early again and kind of get the same results that they had last time. I'm pretty sure Kim Goon has another counter pick up his sleeve. He always does. So even if they ban the Renekton, I feel like FPX are going to be fine with it. What Snake could do on the other hand is say, you know what, Mala? You're playing this Akali. It's like, what? Yes, you're playing this Akali. I have 10 games on it. You're playing this Akali. Because, like, I don't think Mala actually has that much influence against Doinb. As long as he can keep himself safe, I'm okay with Mala just being like a flex pick Akali. And try to fake out a counter pick for Flandre.
I feel like at the very least, though, his Galio has been a big factor in the fights they've won. That last game, not as much, but in the first game, the Galio was definitely a huge point in their favor. So I don't know if that's going to be banned out or if Snake still wants the emphasis there, but I think we can agree at the very least they need to pay attention to their top side. FPX going with the same 2 jungle bans as always, Olaf and Lee Sin against SOFM.
See the Aatrox going down, another good pick into the Akali. Wins the lane pretty hard earlier on. And also something that Doinb is really, really good on. So like I was talking about, FPX do leave up the Akali, and this time they finally get rid of the Camille. I was talking about that in Game 2 as well. I feel like Camille going over to Snake is too much of a problem. And you could see the defensive prowess just with the hookshot as well, able to delay the game from going forward. So here comes the big tell. Can Snake actually get the flex Akali? Can you actually bait Gimgoon into a bad matchup? We're going to see with these 2 picks.
Here comes the Akali.
But who is going to play on the Akali? That's the big question. I'm perfectly willing, even if Mala only has 5 games on that Akali, if I'm the coach,
getting lower.
If I'm the coach, I'm just telling him, you know what? You can be a C+ Akali. I don't mind. I only want Flandre on a good matchup. Oh no, they're not going to do it.
They're sticking to their guns, Clement. They say, okay, this Galio has worked wonders for us.
Galio support, maybe, please?
I really want to see that now. You kind of ruined it for me, but I really don't think that's the case. I suspect they just want to keep Mala on that because he's been able to keep himself safe and impact the rest of the map. But now that there's no Camille, I'm wondering what they're going to pick up for SOFM.
I still think you're going to be looking at stuff like the Jarvan, maybe the Kha'Zix, things that can combo well with the hero's entrance. We've already seen the Kha'Zix being played once, and for SOFM, he's already actually picked it up as well. With 3 jungler bans already on the table, I feel like they have to pick it up now. And there we go. They do have the Kha'Zix. One thing to note about SOFM's Kha'Zix, he does evolve the Spike Rags, I believe, as his second evolve, and with the area effect, you can hit 2 isolated targets at once with the 90% slow. So a very good tool on catching up on isolated targets. Once you get the slowdown, you can have the Galio combo in on you as well. So I'm actually quite happy with what SOFM got, despite the bans coming out from FPX.
Now, you're not going to get the Flex Akai that you wanted, but at least we get the Kha'Zix here for SOFM, and hopefully he'll be able to keep the influence up on that one, keep pushing towards Flandre, keep him ahead. That's what they really need to do. Snake now banning out the Alistar, and the response from FPX will be the Rakan. A lot of focus here on both bottom lanes.
Here's another question. Will Asura actually pick up the Lucian? Now, we haven't seen it in the past, and like we were talking about, Lucian was one of those picks that actually fell through the cracks in the Snake vs EDG series. Now, if he can actually pick it up, he could punish FPX's bot lane so hard and make sure that they don't have that strong bottom side to play through. LWX, he does not play well without support. So if you can suck the jungler into a bad bot lane matchup, that would be massively beneficial for Snake.
Now it looks like they're going to ban the Victor once again. FPX, 1 ban remaining until we finally get to see how Snake's going to adapt. The Ezreal ban coming out onto Asura. Makes sense given game 1. Oh, Sivir might be coming out again for Snake.
A little bit disappointed that we're not seeing key picks being selected here. But Asura is going for something that, frankly, he could have won game 2 with. So maybe Snake are thinking, if we just don't play the team fight, the last team fight the way we did, we had it in the back.
Well, that also requires them to get that crazy team fight top with Flandre, and that seems like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity as well. So this is a risky strategy here from Snake, and Crisp's going to be able to pick up his Tahm Kench.
Like I said, if we're going for the exact same game plan, I do favor FPX overall in the draft. And once more, we're seeing the Renekton being picked. Now, give me that support Galio.
I don't know if we're going to be that lucky.
FPX are thinking about it. They're going like, I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure. Come on, Snake. Give me some surprises. All right.
It's an almost identical team comp for both teams. Literally, the only thing that changed was the Camille, Camille was replaced by the Kha'Zix.
Only 1 pick was different here. However, I will say the Kha'Zix, if he gets a good early game, he can solo carry a lot harder than the Camille. So maybe SOFM can leverage that.
But FPX have already played this game, Clement. They already know exactly what they need to do to win, and they know exactly what could happen if they're not careful.
I will say that Snake probably know not to invade the top side at level 3 either.
Well, you could hope, at the very least.
No, maybe 3 flashes teaches you a lesson. Maybe.
If not, they could go for 4. It's always a possibility, Clement.
So not a lot of changes. Same game plan coming in from both sides. FPX favoring the blue side, while Snake picking the red side in this series so far. Blue side has been much more successful overall, riding at 63% win rate before this match. Power picks are just too numerous, and there's not a lot of good counters to anything.
And now FPX, they know their game plan. Snake knows theirs. Snake needs to get that Akali for Flandre, rolling early, perhaps off the back of some good Kha'Zix ganks. If Kha'Zix can get himself rolling, it's a good sign for them as well. Problem is, FPX have a lot of answers.
They have a lot of strong lanes. That's what they have. I don't see any side really coming out too far ahead on the bottom. And also the mid lane should be advantageous for Doinby on his Urgot versus Galio matchup. Top side, we've seen how the Renekton and Akali plays out in the laning phase. He does get the shove most of the time. Just a strong champion overall. So FPX, they just need to minimize their mistakes. They had a winning game plan, to be honest. Game 1, Game 2, it really were those mistakes that nearly cost them the game. And if they can have just one smooth sailing, I do see them walking away with this series, even in Chongqing.
And here we go into the final game. The series between FPX versus Snake. It's tied 1-1. Let's see who's going to take home the series and their second victory here in the LPL Spring Split, sorry. I'm getting overhyped, Clement.
Calm down, young one.
It's hard. I'm imagining Snake getting to playoffs.
Oh boy.
I know.
Those were the exact words I said.
It's hard. It's hard being a new, fresh face, so naive to what Snake can do.
Snake are heartbreakers. They're known as the Scrim SKTs because there was one time where SKT came to China and Snake were very proud to pronounce that SKT were not that much of a challenge. Unfortunately, they could never perform as well as their scrims on the field. But this team has a lot of potential. I really like the Snake roster so far. They shored up most of their weaknesses. I'm still a little bit dubious about the ceiling that Mala provides. But at least he's playing up to in the meta, and he's holding his own against Doinby.
Now it looks like topside start coming out here, so we're seeing some adjustments, Clement. I don't know if this is a significant enough one to matter, but worth noting, both junglers starting topside.
Interesting to note that we're actually seeing this phase rush onto the Kazakhs as well. So just more chasing potential. I think he is going to be looking for hunting Tien down on the Gragas. Tien really has been allowed to play the game the way he wants to. 3 games on Gragas right now.
Oh no.
Only 10 gold taken away.
But we've seen this before as well. FPX know exactly how to track SOFM. They've done it 3 games, soon to be 3 games in a row. So SOFM's going to need to change up his pathing. He's going to need to alter the way he plays so that he doesn't get abused by the early vision of FPX. But it looks like, once again, he's doing the exact same thing.
All right, finally the Colonel has been agreeing with me. He gave the composition lead to Snake last time.
At least this time, Snake are going to be pushing down into the bottom lane. They're getting the shove early, which they weren't able to do before.
And here comes the potential encounter between Kazakhs and Gragas. SOFM probably has to back out here.
He
might get finished.
This is a dangerous game he wants to play. He does take it.
Right in the face of Tien. That's just going to be his game plan moving forward. He knows the red is still up. He has the advantage here. Tien sees him.
This is so cheeky from Snake. They have the positioning here on this fight. Mala wants to go around.
I don't think there's anything Tien can do.
If Mala gets in without being seen, he's going to go for the flash. This could be an easy first blood and a jungle win. Tien going to get taken down here by SOFM. First blood.
And I just don't think Tien could do that. He actually knew the Galio was losing lane, and now Doinby is in trouble as well.
Doinby's going to have to get out. The Justice Punch will keep him in place. The flash is not going to be enough. 2 kills early for Snake. This is looking great for them out of nowhere.
And that was such poor communication from the jungler and the mid lane of FPX. It was a very clear 2-man game where Snake were in the advantage in terms of the bot lane shove. Galio was also spotted on his way towards the jungle, but just a bit of careless play from Tien, and Doinby still wandering in afterwards was a bit perplexing.
Definitely a little bit of a question mark ping for me there, Clement, but we're going to see a replay of that very jungle fight here.
So you can see the pings going down. They know that Galio is around the corner. Doinby definitely told Tien about that, but Tien still tries to go in, push his luck with the potential red buff steal, and then Doinby still walks in for some reason. This is a clear 2v1 against a red buff isolation Kazakhs. There's no way you're going to get out of that while committing, so I was a really, really puzzling follow-up from Doinby. Now, I honestly feel like that was the tilt going down to Doinby because he was clearly pinging out that Galio was in the brush. We could see on the minimap right there, he was telling Tien, Galio's there, Galio's there. Tien falls down, and then Doinby follows up for no reason at all.
And this is everything Snake didn't have last game. They had no early game lead. They had no chances in the top lane. The bottom lane wasn't really getting to shove out and play the way they wanted to. But this game, they got 2 kills in the jungle versus Doinby and Tien, which means Tien can't keep tracking SOFM as easily.
I'm sorry, SOFM. I should never have doubted you. You're called Style of Me, not Style of Flandre. So SOFM getting the job done himself, going for a very unique phase rush Kha'Zix to get the job done.
And honestly, in that level 1, I kind of feel like it was key. Because at a certain point, to chase down someone who flashed away from you, you're going to need more move speed.
The Q's not going to work on you. You have a 75% slow resistance. You can walk past him with the Ghost, get a couple more autos in. So far, SOFM, he's always been that unique Kha'Zix builder. He was one of the first junglers to really start going into the camouflage, adaptive cloaking, excuse me, first. But Flandre might be in trouble.
Very predictably, Tien coming up here to try and stop Flandre, but Flandre has a good ward there in Tribush. Going to stop the gank, might even try to stop the back. Flandre, okay. That is playing with fire, dude.
It's fine, it's fine. Tien doesn't have flash, so I actually felt like he was fairly safe right there. I like that cheeky play.
It is cheeky, and I love that from Flandre, but it's making me a little bit nervous.
You're just not too much of a Snake fan. You don't have the faith built into you yet.
I've never had the faith built into me for any team. I know I can be disappointed. And here, this early Infernal Drake is a ripe opportunity for that very feeling. Teleport coming in. Oh, that's unfortunate. Snake going to have to give over the Infernal, but this does give Flandre time to shove out the top lane, if nothing else.
It's a pretty big committal for the Infernal Drake. Now, of course, Infernals, you know, they're great late game, but I'm not sure that teleport was worth it from the top.
Oh, Asura getting flashed on and devoured. Now Maestro trying to keep him alive. Asura flashes out, has the ignite on. Will survive, but that is a lot of damage put down in the early game, and both summoners blown.
Good trading coming in from FPX. They do have the vision lead in the river, able to transfer it and just force it very, very hard into the bottom lane. And that was a little bit too easy for Crisp, for my liking. He basically walked up and got the Devourer straight onto Asura.
Maestro was trying to body block, but was not having much luck, and now this might be 2 whole platings taken down by the bot lane of FPX. And last game the problem was they let LWX farm up, and this is even worse than that.
That's at least a wave and a half denied towards Asura as well. So massive win coming in from the FPX bot lane.
All going to be up to the top side of the map for now. Asura and Maestro, the best I think they can do is just try and play safe, not let that happen again, and keep farming up for the late game.
Red buff almost up for FPX on the bottom side of the map. I do expect Snake to really try and leverage their teleport into the top lane and also the level advantage on SOFM, where I see the pings going down. I'm not sure this is a fight that FPX necessarily want to contest, but what they should be looking for is how to defend their bot lane after the play does happen.
SOFM getting some deep vision into the jungle. FPX are going to clear it out. But SOFM isn't quite ready to leave yet.
He knows he has a massive advantage here. Tien finally ticking up to 6, but everyone is here for the red buff.
Snake is all here. Bot lane going to be enough to just secure the red buff, but that was a lot of committal just for the red.
It was definitely worth it though. There was a chance that Flandre could have found a teleport, which Kimgun could not match, and they could wipe the entire team from FPX on the bottom side. So for FPX, that was just you know, too risky of a play to fully contest, and I like the way they handled it. They cleared out the vision, they set a control ward to make sure that there was any deep vision, and they still got part of the Raptor camp, so it was a really good defensive play given the situation coming in from Tien.
Lane gate coming in onto Mala here from Doinby and Tien. Doinby gets the knockback. Mala flashes out, will be safe for now. Justice Punch back in. The ultimate's coming up from the bottom lane, but Mala's down.
It's a really good play from Doinby. Uses the Echoing Flames to instantly clear the minion wave and get the Disdain straight onto Mala. I think Mala was not expecting that. That was a really clever use of his timings right there.
SOFM just going to try and clear out this wave as best he can, but FPX will pick up turret plating.
So Doinby really starting to pick up the pace into that mid lane. We do see the Black Cleaver being picked up typically a lot earlier in the mid lane Urgots. And I feel like it's going to be up to SOFM, who's now sitting on a 30+ CS lead to really carry Snake's early game.
Yeah, he and Flandre are the only members left who are at least a little bit ahead. Together, now that they have this Fed Kha'Zix, they might have a chance of taking down Gimgoon and changing the dynamics of this lane that gave them so much trouble last game.
This is still pretty dicey for Snake, though. The bottom side is a clear 4v2 trade, but on the top side, the Renekton, if Gimgoon tried to stay, it's actually very hard to kill him with Dominus. And you can see Gimgoon, he's willing to go back underneath the tower. He knows that his strong side is winning out. Even if he dies here, he can just delay and prevent the trade back from Snake.
Now they will pick up.
It's going to go on mid, though. Oh, never mind. My bad, my bad. Doinby's already bought.
Yeah, no. Not quite, just yet. That'll be the full gold going over to LWX there. 610.
What? Flandre? Hello?
Really not looking good for Snake here, Clement.
Whoops.
Whoops is a bit of an understatement. He was kind of their only lane that was doing well, so him dying in the 1v1 is a bad look.
Yeah, so let's catch that again. Gimgoon still with ultimate, goes in with the Q, gets the W in before Flandre can put smoke screen down. Flandre goes in for some sustain, gets the stun.
Ooh.
Doesn't matter.
So much damage coming out of the Renekton in the early game. Flandre doesn't yet have an answer, so he's going to lose that 1v1, and anyone's that'll follow up, I suspect. And now, FPX positioning around top lane and that Herald. They want to keep Flandre down.
I think we're going to be seeing a lot more Renektons in the meta so far. It's such a strong champion. It's so difficult to tower dive. You can wave clear with your Q and your E. You have your stun that's on 1.5 seconds. So the more I'm seeing of Renekton, actually the more I like out of that champion. I just feel like he's an automatic strong side no matter which jungler you actually select.
And the jungler they selected for Snake, unfortunately, not able to keep up, while TN has been kept down this game. Very unusual for this series. SOFM really hasn't been able to find a foothold across the map. He's been doing very well, but we see both outer towers taken down by FPX in short order, and SOFM has nothing to answer with.
FPX, they just played the laning phase better. They got essentially what was solo kills in all three lanes, I would say. They forced double summoners out of the bot lane. Renekton, Gimgoon got a solo kill. And Doinby also with the really smart Echoing Flames play to get the disdain onto Galio. So this is really what we expect out of a full-fledged FPX team. All three of their lanes can play a ton of champions, they can win early, and it's just about the mid to late game macro game that we want to see them improve on.
Rift Herald dropped mid here from FPX. They'll shortly take down this tower. Turret plating still have 50 seconds left. So this should be a good chunk of gold for the team on the blue side.
That's a rough situation for Snake to contend with. Already a 3-1 turret lead. Oh, and they don't even stop Shelly on the second charge.
Now FPX go give this blue over to Doinby. Flandre not looking like he'll be able to carry this one just yet. He needs to farm up, but that's the story for everyone here on Snake. And if FPX keep this tempo up, they're not going to be able to.
There's just nowhere for Snake to farm right now. Like, their lanes are under a lot of pressure. You can see Flandre farming way above the vision line on his side of the map. And Galio and Sivir kind of have to share the same lane just to stay safe. None of them really want to go 1v1 versus the Renekton in the bot side. So I feel like Snake are going to be hard pinched for resources at this point. And we have to remember one thing. In the current patch, minions don't have auto push mechanics in them. So what you can do as a winning team is you can very effectively freeze side lane waves and just starve the losing team even more.
We'll have to see if FPX have the foresight to do that. Astra will be clearing waves here, has completed the call, so it's a big chunk of gold in his pocket, but again, probably not going to be enough to bring it back for Snake. They need to make a good play here into the bottom lane. SOFM gets spotted out, so Gimgoon should see this coming.
Andre trying to bait Gimgoon into a full committal. Gimgoon cleverly doesn't bite.
This game is yet to break out in earnest, but it doesn't need to. FPX have gotten such a huge lead in such a short time here in the early game. They've got the 3 towers already.
That's level 11 versus level 9. Oh my.
But SOFM, so much damage on isolated targets. You can't duel a Kha'Zix.
That was quite surprising. I mean, there was an Abyssal Voyage coming in as well, but Gimgoon also knew the damage that SOFM could deal. He just says, nope, I'm getting out of here.
Smart decision by him, or he would have been taken out quickly. And now Snake want to get the 3v2 in the mid lane. They're focusing down onto Chris, but the teleport comes in from Gimgoon. SOFM chunked to half here. And Asura's ultimate should be able to get them out, but here comes Tien. Ultimate gonna knock back Flandre, but he will make it back to his tower safely.
And even though SOFM had a really good showing against Renekton, LWX with a single Q and that 1k gold lead over Sivir, able to take him down to half with just the Q. So probably not the smartest way to engage on that, I would suspect.
Not a great engage from either side, honestly, but Snake will make it out alive, and that's better than I think they could have hoped for. Now, Gimgoon continuing the relentless push into the bottom lane. Flandre still can't win that 1v1. Hasn't finished the gunplay, but does have teleport.
He could try to keep this wave shoved as where it is and maybe find a pick onto Doinby. He's more of the immobile, he's the most immobile member on the FPX roster right now.
Ooh, SOFM might find a 1v1 here.
Doesn't want to go into 1v3.
Smart. Smart. Now SOFM being forced out of his own jungle.
I think he does have the Reaper Claws evolved, I do believe. That's where the damage was coming from.
He's got 50 CS up on Tien, but it doesn't seem like it matters this game. He can get 1v1s, but no one's going to be isolated on FPX. They don't need to be.
He's doing a good job on playing on the knife's edge, goading FPX to go after him multiple times already. And I'm a little bit surprised, but FPX, Snakes, excuse me, so far have been able to stabilize. They're still losing out quite hard on the CS department just because they have no lane control. You can see in the top side of the map, FPX already willing to let the wave just push towards them, deny a bit more CS coming in from Snake. Galio just doesn't know where he wants to go. He's thinking about mid lane, but at the same time, it's a very long stretch for Sivir to get up there as well.
So I mean, taking away the Wolves gets spotted out by SOFM. And now all of FPX are backing. But there's nothing Snake can really do about it. They're just going to clear out that blue side of the jungle. We'll wait to see what happens when FPX is back on the map. Neither Baron nor Dragon is spawning. 2 minutes till Baron, but I don't suspect anyone will go for it just yet. There's no need.
Just as a refresher, Snake has came out ahead in basically all of the team fights that they've taken with FPX. So a possible scenario and win condition for them would simply be to have SOFM reach for the adaptive cloaking, go in onto LWX and just snipe him out before he can do any damage.
It does require them to get the team fights, get the positioning, and get the picks though. And right now, they haven't really been able to force any fights. We only have 4 kills on the board, nearly 20 minutes in. So Snake having their win condition as getting fights is going to be very difficult for them.
I feel like FPX are doing a much better job at just controlling the macro game. They're waiting for their big item spikes. Waiting for the Baron most likely. The Infernal is going to help them a lot with that as well. So really not much rush from either team. Both of them are pretty content with just scaling up a little.
Well, Snake has 2 decently important item completions just now. The Gunblade for Flandre and the Dustblade for SOFM means that if the 2 of them want to make a play together, it's a lot of extra damage that FPX won't be expecting. Question is if they're going to be able to do that, because right now the way they're moving around the map is not finding them any victims.
Ooh, I like this hit squad coming in from Snake. 2 assassin characters going in together.
Going in. Here comes the hero's entrance. Flandre comes in. He wants crit. They might be able to get the pick off. Justice Punch knocks him up. Chris is down. Now the flash away from Tien should secure his safety, but at the very least, Snake picks up a kill.
And we do see at the last moment, Tien does get the scuttle back to them, so dampens any hope that Snake can look for the Baron play. Doinby popping Ghost. He's not going to catch up to anyone. Like we were talking about the spike racks coming out from SOFM.
It's a lot of slow coming out from him. Asura should be able to dissuade this push with the ricochet, but an engage on the Flandre takes him out in short order. Now Gimgoon half health. Mala looking for taunt, not able to find it.
It was a really good disengage coming out from Tien, blasting everyone away. And a really good combo onto Flandre as well. Didn't have any time to pop the smoke
SOFM
screen.
might be able to get the kill here. Nope. Will chunk Doinby very low, however. Look at that wave clear from Asura.
It's really hard to capitalize on winning positions for FPX. The wave clear coming out from Snake just is too great. They have the Galio, the Spike Racks, and the Sivir pulling in all their weight. That was a really close fight. I actually felt like if Flandre did time his ultimate better to catch LWX as he was coming out, maybe they could have landed a two-piece. But overall, still a very good fight from them, a good disengage, and a really good cleanup by FPX right there. Tien going in on the right moment onto Flandre.
FPX now 3K gold lead, up 2 towers still, and up the additional dragon. Baron is on the field. There's a lot FPX can do here. But right now, they're playing it slow.
The Colonel has spoken. 80% into FPX's favor.
Snake can still pull it back. There's the miracle team fight possibility, but that did seem like a once-in-a-lifetime thing from Flandre.
Got a quadra kill in game 2 to pull Snake within fighting distance. Or I should have said they basically were going to win that game, if not for the last team fight.
Always the potential for FPX to throw, but you don't want to rely on that if you're Snake. So they need to keep making the proactive plays. And Asura now, with those 2 items, is able to easily wave clear. So FPX will need to be a little bit creative about how they push. SOFM might get picked off. Good leap away from Doinby.
Good reaction time from SOFM as well. Dodges out on all of the fights. So I like how Tien is playing this setup. He's going between the mid and the top side. You don't want to leave Doinby alone. If he's isolated with how fed SOFM is, he can still clearly take down the Urgot. The Kha'Zix's a great counter to 1-3-1 compositions because you can pick off side lanes so easily. You do need your jungler to roam more and try to help that out.
Oh, Flandre goes in. 3-man, here comes the ultimate. Mala is in the fight now. He's trying to get the taunt. He gets it onto 3. This isn't going to be enough. The Devourer will save Tien for now. Flandre still on the flank. Has the potential to go back in. Mala's low. Gimgoon goes golden. And Snaker being chased out of the fight. Doinby once back in. First kill goes down onto Mala. Here comes Crisp and Tien. They pick off 2 more. Flandre and SOFM, the only ones remaining on their team, and FPX with an easy teamfight win.
And Doinby was really the hero of that fight for me because he kept SOFM, the main damage dealer of Snake, on the right side of the wall. So SOFM could find no purchase into the team fight, and even with the initial stun coming in from Flandre, the follow-up really wasn't there.
Now Snake forced back as the death timers are significantly longer than before. The Baron should be an easy take here by FPX. We've seen this before, Clement.
2 assassins are up for Snake as well, and I believe they will have a go at it, see who they can pick off. Another teleport following in, so they're not giving up yet.
SOFM potentially looking for Doinby, but he gets chased off pretty quickly there. Baron goes down to FPX, and SOFM not able to find anyone.
And a flash traded at the back end there between Doinby and SOFM as well. Let's take a look at the fight. SOFM, if he could find his way into the team fight, it should have been some easy kills right there, but Doinby keeping Mala slowed down, taking out, making sure SOFM could not get over the wall, and the 4 members bunched up against Gimgoon is just not a good idea. That Stasis buying so much time to deal damage with the dominance, and of course Crisp with the follow-up.
That Abyssal Voyage from Crisp did so much work in that team fight, able to pick off Snake after they had nearly made their escape, and now FPX, 5 members back up.
That was really a situation that was saved by FPX's front line. They were able to keep the damage dealers off, were able to keep Sivir, Asura, and Maestro back on their heels. And even though there was a 3-man engage onto the backline with Flandre, they couldn't get anything.
Now FPX pick up their 3rd Drake of the game, 2 Cloud Drakes, 1 Infernal. And they'll be looking for the push in all 3 lanes, trying to get the win at this point. It looks like bot lane going to be their first point of focus.
8,000 gold up. LWX already sitting on 3 items. It's going to be a very difficult one for Snake to maneuver. They do have to find that kill onto LWX, but if you look at his summoners, both are still up. It's not going to be an easy task.
He has 3 items, as you say, so he can take anyone out. SOFM,
Solo kill.
See you later, buddy. This could be the game here for FPX. Snake need to get an engage if they want a chance of staying in it.
I don't think SOFM thought about the frozen mallet.
Oh, by
Gets
Flandre.
Flandre.
That's going to be the game. FPX going to likely clean up the fight, but they're getting pushed off pretty severely there. The damage from Asura will dissuade them a little bit, but here comes LWX. We've seen this last game.
LWX goes in.
LWX goes in, gets the kill onto 2. LWX with the hero plays to end the game, the triple kill, and FPX will take the series 2-1 over Snake.
That's a true killer instinct coming in just to finish off Snake. The game plan prevails for FPX. They don't let Snake get any miracle team fights, and they come back from a horrible 0-2 start in the early game to finish off Snake and Tongqing.
Snake really did not get enough off of that early game. It looked pretty good for them, honestly. The bot lane was pushing in as they needed to. Top was going well, mid lane was going fine, and SOFM was further ahead than we had seen him before in the series. Problem was, they didn't do much with it.
Yeah, I have to say that this is the game where FPX really shows their ceiling, where all 3 lanes can individually outplay their opponents. They got summoners, they got solo kills in the top side, and also a beautiful play from Doingby to secure a gank onto the mid side as well. So this was the worst laning phase that Snake actually found in this series so far, and we're seeing some glaring signals, because I don't think Snake picking red side themselves and not having enough counter picks is a good draft strategy going forward.
And there you see that gold difference over time. Once again, a sad story.
And Snake, they really need to hone in on their identity a little bit more. I felt like this is a team that has a lot of pieces that can work together. They can't try to pump up their laning phases. Just one of those lanes would be enough. And I do feel like it's much more of a ganking jungle meta rather than purely controlled jungle meta. If you get a gank in a supposedly losing lane, you can just flip the strong sides on the map and you get so much advantages out of that. I do feel like maybe SOFM really needs to retool a little bit of his style. It's not always about you, SOFM, even though I know that's in your name. But give Flandre some love. Try to branch out a little bit for Snake. That's what I want to see.
And that's what we'd been hoping for all 3 series, and we thought maybe this game would be SOFM's chance to show, okay, I can focus top. I can do it. I promise. Then his addiction flared up again, and he went mid and bot. And honestly,
I can't blame him for the solo kill, though.
No, I mean, the solo kill was awesome. But SOFM really played well to himself, and he got fed, he got ahead in farm, but really his laners were left a little bit out to dry, and he wasn't able to capitalize on the lead he had gotten for himself because his laners were stuck so far behind. So I think for Snake, going forward, this is going to be a balancing act for them. They need to get Flandre more attention, like Clement, you've been saying, but they also need to find a way to mesh together. We've seen them play incredibly well in team fights. That is their specialty. Flandre is a great initiator, a great team fighter, and a great top laner. They just need to give him the resources and the space that he needs to succeed. And thus far, they haven't done that.
Nope, and I'm not sure the invading style is going to work for Snake that much further because Mala, even though he had a great series against EDG, I think it was pretty much shut down by Doingby. All 3 games on the Galio, not actually doing much. So if you're not going to play the invade 2v2, if you're not going to gank for your lanes, what is going to be the winning strategy for Snake?
We'll have to find out next time we see them. When we come back, we're going to have RNG versus Suning. Stick around.